But you know what? We're in the playoffs, baby. We're looking, and we're all fat off turkey, but we're still looking to get even fatter off some re-ranks. We're gonna look at this list of 200 and something, 228 games, and we're gonna say, hey, 6 of them ain't right. But after we handle these 6, the list will be perfect again, as it always is and always will be. So, we're gonna re-rank. This is our 20th time that we've been doing this. I don't actually know. What number are we on? I feel like Els would know this.
God, why are you putting me on the spot right now?
You know what? We're gonna say it was the 20th time.
No, it's like 8th.
8th time.
Ninth.
Basically the same thing. 9th time.
Greatly overshot that one.
So thank you,
Well,
thank you, Kevin. By
WrestleMania
the
9
way,
is widely viewed as the worst one. This will not be the worst rank. So.
Thank you, Kevin. By the way, for the sub.
Thanks, Kevin.
Tell us how audio is in chat. By the way, please.
Yeah.
I put background music on, so you know.
Now,
Tell
what's
me
the
if
tune?
right now it's Kirby's Nightmare in Dreamland, Nightmare Wizard.
Whoa.
We got battle music going on because
This is gonna. You're seeding the ground for conflict.
yeah, I mean Rankerseries. Last time it was it was the celebration of the summer. It was.
Kevin does not hear the music.
Okay, I got it pretty low, so I didn't want to have it too
Gotta
loud.
manage.
Did no one link the stream on the fucking Discord channel?
Okay, we've been live for like 1 minute, bro.
Saf,
Chill.
you know who could do that, Saf? Okay.
I'm managing a lot.
Brandon
right
has
now.
a lot of plate spinning.
It's fine. I can link it.
It's linked.
No, because I don't have the thing opened up. I was like, oh, I will rely on Discord, but nope, it wasn't there.
Saf is
You were just
quiet.
staring, waiting to get to the link to your own stream. Saf is quiet. Don't know if that's bad mic discipline though. Says Kevin. I think you have
is it
great
better?
actually.
Fine, that's weird.
Ah,
I mean, I can lean a little closer.
lean back.
Get that
Oh, lean
ASMR going.
Lean a little bit closer to me, Saf. Get
Oh,
in.
Yeah. Good.
Supposed to be social distancing.
Oh yeah, you're right.
You know,
6
they're
feet
part of
from
the
mic,
family unit.
go.
It's okay. All right. So, Brandon, I don't know if
Yeah.
you're ready to spin the wheel of morality.
Yeah, I am. Turn down the music. Turn the music down.
Turn the music down a touch.
All right, we're trying
We
to
gotta
get.
dial it in. We gotta dial it in.
I gotta find that sweet medium,
Mm-hmm.
It's hard because it's like already like pretty low. I think there we go. I think I got it. All right. Okay. Yeah, I got the wheel here. Hopefully you guys can read it. I think you can.
Mm-hmm.
I set this up last night.
And we can say the name
The name of what? Rankerseries?
of who lands on the wheel.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
Everything else very audible, very clear.
Okay.
We're good.
Good. Everything looking good on the stream?
Yes.
Good. All right, let's go. We're spinning.
Spin.
Hey, look at that.
Ooh, just barely, Brandon. But it's your
Look
time.
at that. I'm going first, baby. All right. Okay, so thought about this a little bit today. Of course, had to. And man, I got the first pick. I don't know if this has ever happened to me before.
What a special occasion.
I know, right? You know what? There's this thing that's been bothering me a little bit. And we actually recently talked about it on the, I think it was the last episode of the Game Club. And I think IQ Intelligent Cube has gotten shoved down a bit too far. So I think we need to move it up a little bit.
Yay.
I was
gonna pick
that was
that,
gonna be
too.
my pick.
So I guess we were on agreement then.
Yeah, we got 3 at least.
So IQ Intelligent Cube is at number 209 right now.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was one of the first Game Club games we played. So I think it, just got pushed down because we kept adding games, and it kind of just got overlooked. So I think that's what happened to it, really. So yeah, I think it should move up. Looking at the list, I think it should go up above, like, I'm thinking like a decent sized jump, like underneath Metal Wolf Chaos, maybe.
So 187.
That's a pretty big jump.
I think I would put it below Pokemon Snap.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd be fine with right above Winback. Yeah, because I was thinking above Mario Land. but
I'm
those
okay
are-
with that too.
I'm okay with it being above Simpsons Arcade. Well, I guess that's going to be a later conversation for a later time.
Ooh.
I mean, it's gonna be, so don't worry.
Back.
Yeah, I was looking around like Market 3 Pokemon Snap too, but I can go higher. But I don't think everybody else wants to go higher.
I'm okay with that being in that spot, right below Pokemon Snap. It doesn't.
Wait, you want this above, like, geese?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
It's a very unique like little puzzle like game.
They got good ideas. And I think a lot of this section has parts where I'm like, oh man, this is good except for this one part, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Where I don't think really had that one part that sticks out in my brain. Is like,
Yeah.
upsetting.
It only had one part, though. Like, it was just
Yeah,
one
but also
thing.
Mario Land did, and it's like, oh, it's yeah.
True. You know what? Yeah, I'm okay with that, I guess then. Cause like it, you're right. It only did have one thing, but it did that one thing really well. So can't really fault it for it. But I don't know if that's enough. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you need more than just that. I don't think it.
I mean, near the bottom of the list, we're around games that do like one good thing, and the rest of it is kind of shit. But and then Lucky Luke doesn't really do anything good, but you know, whatever.
Incredible Crisis has ska, but not much else.
It's funny.
It's got a grandma, so
We do love Grandma.
We love
who
Grandma.
loves it.
You get to play as a dog.
All right, the killed Staff's hand. But that's not the thing we're talking about. IQ. I'm like I said, I'm cool with any Pokemon stuff.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's that?
Relatively painless.
But a smooth, how many? 15, 16 spots?
210 to 193.
Yeah. So 17 spots. Ain't nothing. That's a fact. But now we turn our eyes back to the wheel.
Spin it, baby.
Wheel, baby. Let's bring it back up.
Wheel.
Oh, hold on.
Uh-oh.
I gotta do.
Oh, it removes you from the.
Oh, it removes the name.
Yeah. How do that? Let's see.
Wow, you've only done this like 6 times.
Hold on.
What were you saying about the ninth one being the worst?
It's gonna be.
Why is
That
it
was
not?
the one.
I took my name off the list, so there we got that part. Where's the remove choice? Okay, there it is. Jesus, right there.
There we
Stare
go.
me in the face. Okay, there we go, baby. Whoop,
From
scrolled up
live
too
from
far.
outside Caesar's Palace. Here we
You think I work for AEW with this kind of production?
go. Ooh, sloppy shop.
We love you, AEWs. Will!
Hey, it's me. Okay. So, the world's my oyster. And where do I want to go with it? You know, I think we talked about it the other day. But I think I would like to. Do I want to move this up or this down? Is the question, right? Do I want to build? Do I want to make something feel better or make something feel worse? That's the great question of life. You know what,
Tear it
Brandon?
all down.
Okay, then we're tearing it down. I want to move Octopath down again.
Is that eligible? I think it is, right?
I think it's been a year. It has been a year.
Get the official source. Ills is the official source.
This is the official.
I'm
source.
looking for it.
Yeah,
Okay,
Mr.
Octopath was
Radiant
moved.
Spruce.
Yeah, it was a while ago. It was more than a year ago.
Alright, it's
there you go.
eligible, though.
The eternal thing with Octopath is we have to keep an 8 in the name, so we have to move it in at least the 80s. No, Octopath, you know, as time gets further removed from it, right, I think that we can look and say that there was really strong aspects to the core gameplay loop, right? But looking at the games that have filled out the list since, excluding maybe Mario Sunshine, depending on if you've been watching the streams, I think all the other games in the 80s especially are ones that like have one attribute that's just really exemplary, right, and not really like a ton of negatives, right? Where Octopath has one of the bigger flaws of RPG could have, which is a story that sort of peters out more than it ever concludes. So where would I want to put it? Sorry.
And I mean, we go through this every time, but the break system is great until you fight randoms at like 80 hours in, and you're like, oh my god, can this end?
So I think it's definitely.
Where is it right now?
Right now it's
72.
72. So I think I definitely feel like I like Amnesia and Life is Strange more. And if I had my druthers, I would put it maybe like right below Stardew, but above GTA 4.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Oh, well, here's the question: do we think Bravely is better than Octopath?
I think Octopath is better than Bravely,
Okay.
Yeah.
but barely.
Sure.
Right.
So that sort of gives the range that we would put it in. Yeah. Like, I think I might like Terranigma more actually than Octopath.
Just because it didn't take 80 hours.
That's, I mean, that, you know, sometimes not overstaying your welcome is one of the strongest things in RPG in particular.
This is true.
That is true.
Yeah. So how does everyone else feel?
I like it above Grand Theft Auto 4. I mean,
Okay.
I feel like it's been pushed down too much already, but that's just me.
Don't want to put Phoenix. Nah. I put it above Stardew.
Below Phoenix.
Put it below Stardew.
Yeah. Below
Hard
Phoenix.
for below Stardew.
Oh, hard for below Stardew. I thought it was above Stardew.
hardcore.
I'm okay.
Hard
I'm
forward.
okay with putting it below Stardew as well.
Someone
Stop,
isolate
you
that clip. Hard for
You
below.
just want it above Stardew, so it's at number 88. Be honest.
Wow, is that really the reason?
You just
Stop.
made the best case for it that you could have moved it on. I might flip.
Yeah, you
You know I
really
love Stardew. No, keep going.
No, I genuinely enjoyed Octopath Traveler.
Oh man,
Like,
Kevin's
really
make
good.
We have
yeah.
to make it 88. We have to make it 88.
Yeah, but I can't.
Fuck
Stardew
that.
is a
That's
better
stupid. Fuck
game
that.
than-
That's funny,
than-
but yeah.
Stardew is a better game than Octopath.
Also,
Well, we just have,
I
we, just,
would
we, just
disagree.
we just have to move a game above this to below it, and then it'll be 88.
oh, there we go.
I don't care about it. I just really care about the fact that I enjoyed Octopath more than I enjoyed Stardew.
Yeah, it'll be 88. It made a point. It'll be 88 below Stardew.
So then we're in agreement.
Yeah.
So
Below
okay.
Stardew, it is.
All right, below Stardew. We did it, everybody.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
right.
is a big. Look
There
at
you
that.
go.
Beautiful.
Perfect.
Yeah, perfect. We'd love to see it. Also,
But don't move anything above 88.
We're locked in.
That's not gonna
also
work.
Richard found out apparently in chat why our list was deemed offensive is because Final Fantasy 15 is on the list.
True. You're right.
Yeah, I think that timetable adds up around when I started getting that message when I would post the paste bin.
Wait, it
Follow
is?
the money.
When did we? Oh, I wasn't there when you guys added it.
Yeah.
Big Square Enix is trying to silence us.
Where is it? I don't even know. Where it is.
Keep on
Pretty
scrolling down.
Uh-oh.
It's
How-
not in hell.
How
so-
are audio levels by the way? Still, they still good? You guys, you can hear everybody. Other than maybe
Well, you
Seth?
hear the audio level.
Okay, good. Kevin said good. That's good.
All right.
I just want to make
Two
sure
down.
we're producing a quality product.
Muzi is too low, says Richard.
But that might be on purpose.
Yeah, that might be it. We'll keep it in.
Mhm.
All right, time for the wheel.
It's
For the
spinning.
wheel.
God
Turn.
damn! I just saw what it was. Damn.
Speaking of
25.
too low, Muzzy,
Oh, there.
why don't you tell us
Moose
what's
just
too low
dropped
on
from
the
the chat room?
what? Did he?
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Spin it again.
Well,
Oh, never mind. You say
Well, now Moose's name is gone.
yeah. We.
Oh no, my name was gone.
No. You.
No, you're back. You're back.
You're
Okay.
back.
It's
You're
your
back.
turn.
I had some technical difficulties.
That's all right.
but
Well,
I-
you know
now
it.
you're picking.
So is it my turn or what?
Your
It-
turn.
It
Your
is
big
your turn.
Oh, that's unfortunate because I'm never prepared for this. I mean, I have a game in mind, but I don't want to do it because, you know. I
Want
don't know
someone
why.
else to go before you? and when you some time to think about it.
You know, I don't want to rile some people up. You know.
Just fucking do it.
Do
Jesus
it.
Christ.
Do
We
it.
know what he's doing.
You know what? No, I'm not gonna do it though.
Oh my
Because it's
goodness.
not,
Do what
That's
you want to
fine.
do. Just do it.
Say
Fucking
what you want to
please,
say.
just fucking do it.
This is what the people want.
It is. It is. Chat says do it.
Bye. Bye.
Alright. I want to move down Mario Sunshine.
God fucking no.
We knew it. Here
That's
it
pretty
comes.
funny.
Look,
Moozamil, can you really do this until you beat the game again? Think about it.
you know that I was gonna just do it after I finished playing it, but man, admittedly yesterday I am coming hot off of some of the worst parts of the game.
You are. Yeah.
Tell us about it, Monty. Give us your...
But the thing with Sunshine, and you know, I know Noah disagrees with me, and it's okay. Sometimes we disagree. The parts that were not frustrating to me, I was just kind of ambivalent on. You know, I don't know if there was a point in the game where I was like, yeah, you know. For me, Sunshine just doesn't do it. I don't know, I think the island aesthetic is like cool, I guess, but like
Gorgeous.
I feel like most of the levels just end up being kind of samey because of that. I think the level count itself is a big disappointment. Like only 7 real levels. Like so much filler in this game, right? So much filler, and you know, it's been overstated at this point, but I think it's for a reason. The blue coins not having any sort of tracker for your progress is a terrible mechanic. That is just dumb. You know? Like, for me to not have any way to know how many blue coins I picked up in a certain level, you know? That, you know, it makes collecting them all a nightmare, you know?
Yeah.
But, like, you know, there's so many instances in this game where they come up with, like, parts of the game that are just not fun. You know? Like, you know, everyone knows about the Sandbird. Yeah, Sandbird is not fun. And I agree, Sandbird is not fun. But...
So let's talk to you about Casino Delfino.
Yeah, let me tell you about Casino Delfino. Jesus Christ, what a terrible part of the game. You know? It took forever for me to just line the picture board up right. That was just not fun. And then, like, you know, the game has platforming sections, like, without FLUDD. And, you know, I am someone, I love floating blocks platforming, right? That's my thing. I
Cool.
do not like it in Sunshine. I just don't think Mario controls well in Sunshine. I really don't. I don't know.
He
I'm
definitely feels a bit stiffer than, well, he's definitely not as slidey as he was in Mario 64, and obviously he's not going to control better than Galaxy or Odyssey, because of, like, it was just moving on from the N64 era.
Yeah,
I think he can. I think Mario by himself without FLUDD controls worse than he does in 64.
I mean, I think...
He's very bouncy and he slides around. You move the control stick like 1 inch and he moves like really far. It's really weird.
Well, he jumps higher too. The game controls are designed with you having FLUDD in mind.
Yeah.
And so I think that they were aware of that, and they thought people might want more traditional platforming, which I think was not a bad idea. But I think that you couldn't just copy and paste the FLUDD type of movement and remove the key part of that whole physics system, and then just do platforming, right? I think they had to do some more. You know, a second. I feel like this game, like a lot of early GameCube games, unfortunately, because they had to get them out the door, does feel like a first draft, right? There's a lot of ideas that they're throwing out there, but there's not a lot of are these executed as well as they could be, right? I do think that, like, you know, you can say Mario. I think that with FLUDD, Mario controls in a way that I think is very interesting for a Mario game, right? In that it is generally more acrobatic than a lot of games were up until Odyssey, where I think Odyssey takes that idea and makes it actually work in a platforming environment in a much more smooth way. But yeah, I think all the things that you say are fair in that there's a lot of, this was a game that, like, needed a second draft, and I don't think got it right. And I think that if you look at games that are below it, those are games that I think have much more solid executions than it, you know. So I'd be fine with moving it down.
I would throw it down below Stardew.
Let me scroll down, my friend.
I didn't want to put it past 3D Lands because I still think it's better than 3D Lands.
I disagree with that. I think 3D Land is better. I think it's more fun to play, I think, in it.
How do you feel about Kirby's Epic Yarn?
Where's Kirby's Epic Yarn?
110.
Oh my.
No.
Huge fucking
Not
leap.
that far? Quite
Have
frankly.
I told you how much I love Kirby's Epic Yarn, actually?
See, it's weird because there are ones that I would have different hangups on, right? Like, I do think that, like, having played Hotel Dusk this year, I think Hotel Dusk is a stronger game, right?
True, I just
but-
beat it last night.
Yeah. Do you feel that way?
I do.
I love that game.
But I think that, like, Bravely's, like, actually kind of worse is the weird thing, right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, Bravely might be my sticking point.
Mm.
I could throw it below GTA 4 and Freedom Planet and Terranigma. Well, I haven't done it yet. Danganronpa, even. I mean, obviously, there's a couple more games below that. I don't know, it's hard. I was not thinking anywhere below. Octopath, so I'm just kind of taking
Not
it back
answering the
now.
question.
I honestly don't know if I want it below or above 3D Land. That's my main problem.
Well,
Cause like- Because 3D Land has its own problems, but it's different to what Sunshine's problems
Yeah.
are.
Both of them are the Mario games that were made under duress. That is the interesting thing. Both of these had to be sort of
Yeah.
rushed out the door.
Yeah,
But I
they're
think
both,
that-
they're both rushed Mario games. And
Sunshine definitely is a lot more unique and like stands out more than 3D Lands, I would say.
Unique.
I
doesn't
feel like I
equal
had
good.
more fun on the back half of 3D Land than I did in Sunshine.
I was gonna say.
I mean, the
as a
key
person
part
that-
about it is like the back half, you know, because like
Yeah.
the first half is just gonna be.
yeah, but that back
Yeah.
half made me smile more than the entirety of Sunshine.
Well-
I mean, obviously I don't agree with that, but
Yeah, I mean, as a person that likes Sunshine a lot, you know, a lot of it due to just momentum at this point, right? But I do think that, like, if you're talking about sort of, I think that 3D Land's blemishes are way more well hidden than Sunshine's, right? There's like they're like, okay, how do we made this game? How do we get the most out of it, right? And I think that second half is actually a very cool implementation of that idea, right? Like it was a thing that was almost made better in some ways under duress. Whereas I think with Sunshine, it was they never found that like thing to do to really make it sort of feel like it is this, you know.
but it's also Sunshine is a much older game than 3D Land, so it's kind of
I mean-
expected that 3D Land would have been better.
We never
think-
account for that.
I think the most important thing with this, like, cause like that's kind of like what I enjoy about Super Mario games in general. Like that's my favorite part. Like it always finds a way to make me smile. And I think the most important point with that was made here was like with Muzzy, where it says like 3D Land made you smile more than Sunshine ever did, which is true. In that like there's a lot more moments that you just enjoyed in 3D Land than you would have enjoyed it in. I don't remember having that much joy with Sunshine as I did with 3D Land. That's the thing. In terms
No.
of like fun, unique things and just imaginative, creative things that happened in there. Sorry.
No,
Nobody's talking about Kirby.
There weren't.
I do want to be a little bit positive. I want to say some positive traits on Sunshine, right? Because we have Duncan on it a lot, right? I do think that it's, you know, you can say the island aesthetic may do more or less for you, but I think that that they do actually do a fair amount to make it.
Varied.
They explore the concept really, I think, as fully as you could. Right? I think that they did a lot of good work there, and I think that it is cool that like the levels. The downside is you can't do shines out of order, and we're not comparing it to 64 because 64 is not on the list. But like I think that is limiting, right? Because it means that when there are sticking points, you are stuck on them, right? There's not the option to go sort of get past and get around areas where you have trouble. But I do think that it is cool that like there is a logic to here's mission 1 to mission 2 to mission 3 to mission 4, right? Like there is sort of a thing that you build to, and I think that for a Mario game that's neat, right? I think that they sort of take that and then refine it more in Galaxy, right? But
Yeah,
I
so
do
it's
think,
like it feels like you're progressing through the levels. You're actually changing the levels within, kind of in a weird way.
yeah, which I think is the. And I do think that I think Moose doesn't feel this way about Isle Delfino, but I think that Isle Delfino is a cool hub to walk around in. I think there's a
Oh,
lot
it's
of.
very easily the best hub. Yeah.
I guess
Well,
you
I
argue
wouldn't
for
go that
64
far.
because I guess you argue for. I think the 64 and is not trying to have the best.
Well,
right?
yeah, actually 64, yeah, but it's not on the list.
Yeah, it's not. It's
Yeah.
not. Yeah, but I think it's a good hub, right? So
Yeah.
those are things that I think are positive attributes to the game. Just so we don't
Well-
knock on it entirely.
Technically, it is on the list because it's in Odyssey. So fuck you.
Yeah, that's a terrible.
that
detail.
one room. That one room.
But my whole thing with wanting to move Sunshine now, funnily, it doesn't even come from like the frustrating parts. To be real with, like it comes from the part, like I said, like I just found the rest of the game just meh. I don't know, like I don't feel anything when I'm playing Sunshine. You know, there's not any like specific, like I feel like a lot of Sunshine is just kind of dull, you know. And you mentioned the mission structure, and I think that's actually kind of part of it. Is that like I never had the drive to explore the levels in the way that I did with 64, right?
Sure.
But, this is not just to compare to 64, but just in general, right? Like if the
Yeah.
core of the game is about exploring these 7 courses that they
Yeah.
made, right?
I mean, the core of the thing is that that is supposed to come from the blue coins, but the blue coins are in no way necessary, which is
and
the issue.
in no way fun, because
Yeah.
you can't track them.
Yeah. So you once again, it's that half step, right? It's the first draft, but not like how do we tie it into the thing? They didn't figure that second step out, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so, like,
I'd
What?
say bad open world is almost always worse than good linear. That's just like a solid rule for me. Like if you have a bad open world, it's just worth a waste of time.
Yeah, I would,
agree
you know,
with
'cause-
that.
'cause
Say- with that statement.
Oftentimes, like linear games get you know, linear games can get a lot of guff sometimes because
I don't get
It's
that.
not-
I love a
they're not
good
open
linear
world.
game.
No, I get it. It's
I'm
because
not
they're for
saying anyone on
simpletons.
the
I
list
get it.
does that,
All right,
but that is
bitch.
definitely I'm not looking at the chat, so you're gonna have to relay that to me. But
No, it fucking will.
oh, I didn't know what.
You
what
didn't
Will
catch
said.
it. It's okay.
I was just being a little catty
No.
boy.
But anyway, I'm not saying anyone on the list does that, but you know, it does happen where linear games just don't get as much credit as like, you know, open world games, I feel. And I, you know, 3D Land, you could say like, and I get why people don't like 3D Land. Like, you know, it doesn't, it's not as bombastic as Galaxy or even 3D World,
No,
right?
it doesn't like really present that much new.
But
That makes any sense, but yeah.
yeah, no, I get that for sure. But I don't know, I still just had a blast going through every level in 3D Land, you know, and I just I feel nothing about Sunshine. Well, so okay, question: how many are we at for below 3D Land to get started before we go any lower than that?
4.
Yeah, I'm below 3D Land for sure.
You
Okay.
have my axe.
All right, so I mean that there's
Canada,
no
like,
point in
yeah,
talking about 3D Land versus Sunshine then, right? Now it's how much lower does it go? Is the
Once
question.
again, do I have to ask?
Well,
Why the fuck is nobody talking about Kirby?
Kirby's Epic Yarn. I mean, if I'm not directly compared to Kirby's Epic Yarn, yes, I like Kirby's Epic Yarn more than Sunshine, right? I do. But, but like, you know, that's so many spaces that
There's
I'm
a lot in
thinking-
the middle there. You have to look at.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I think I haven't played the Missing yet. I will by the end of the year. But I feel like I'm fine with it below Brothers, at least, right? Alundra and No More Heroes and Sonic All-Stars Racing is where I get more sticky with it, right? I'm like, I would kind of have it above those games.
Just wait until Noah moves up Alundra this time.
You know what I think we're finding out?
What happened?
I think we're finding out that Kirby's Epic Yarn might be a little too low.
A little too low, you know,
Yeah,
possible.
I think we may have hit that thing.
Don't think so, but
Um,
I feel like if we're gonna go past the Mario 3D Land, I definitely think Phoenix, Saturni, Stardew, Octopath, even Pantera, Enigma, and Danganronpa are better.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't go any lower than that. Everything else lower, except maybe Hotel Dusk and Alundra. But other than that, I don't think any other game below should
I
go
mean,
above it.
I don't want to drag Sunshine down just because I think it should be below Kid Icarus. Like, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna put it below all these other games just because I want it below Kid Icarus. But that said, like, I'm fine anywhere, really anywhere in between, like, above Bravely and, like, below, like, The Missing. I'm fine with anywhere in that kind of range.
Above Bravely and below the
It's
Missing. That's
better
That
than
makes no sense.
yeah. You mean the
Or
opposite?
the invert. You know what
The
I mean.
invert.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, so you want it below Bravely?
Yeah, below. Well,
That's
oh,
what
no,
you
no,
said.
no.
You mean above
Above
Bravely?
Above Rayleigh and below the Missing.
The Missing.
Can you please?
Oh, jeez.
Well, yeah, you know what I'm thinking by it. Like,
Alright.
no, because that's how the list goes. That's literally how the list goes. You know, like, yeah, I think it's better than Bravely, but I don't think Bravely is worse than a couple other games.
Okay,
you know?
so you want it?
Above
No.
Bravely.
Okay, we're just gonna put it above Bravely, I guess. Then this is becoming painful and taking
What
forever.
I mean, Brandon, where do you want it?
Yeah, I'm okay with that, really.
Yeah. Noah, you said you were fine with it below Dangan if we're going below 3D Land, right?
I mean, yeah, but
You're
obviously I'm
gonna
gonna
play-
try to put it as high as I can. But if Bravely's gonna be, then yeah,
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. Anything below, if it goes below Bravely Default, then I'll strongly disagree. Like, a lot.
Yeah, I mean, what's hard is like, but I also think that like Dead Rising also has big flaws to it, and like Uncharted, I sort of feel meh on a lot, so I think I'm fine with it above Rayleigh.
Kirby's crying.
Yeah,
Kirby might have his moment. Who knows?
I think he deserves it.
He's earned it. So there it is. Mario Sunshine.
Haunted.
All right. What's next?
Right, wheel. Where you at, brother? There you are. All right, hitting the wheel. Let's go. Who's next? Who's next? Bill Goldberg. If you're watching this, please don't sue.
My brain went to the epic rap battle.
All right. Noah.
Noah.
It's me.
Alright.
Oh, okay. So I only had 2 games in mind, and since Brandon already picked the first one that I was gonna pick, well, I don't know if I want to make a big jump or a small jump, but I feel like Metroid Prime Hunters should go lower on the list from where it is.
Wowza.
Put it in hell. I'm with you.
I mean, should we? I don't know.
Yeah. Put it
The
in
stuff
hell.
that I've heard about Lucky Luke and the crew makes me think no.
That's the thing. I don't.
I mean, Lucky Luke can go to hell too.
I don't.
The main thing about it was that a first-person shooter on the DS does not work at all.
Sucks
that's not-
ass.
Yeah, it's like it was not fun to play, and I tried to make friends play with me on multiplayer, and that was the only thing that had it going for it was that you got to play as the other bounty hunters,
The hunters,
which
yeah.
I forget their fucking names, but I mean they had some cool mechanics. Instead of turning into a Murph ball, you could like have this caterpillar kind of guy, but like that's.
Yeah.
Like the game
You all
itself,
remember
like, the
this
single
rat on
player,
that shit?
having like to backtrack through missions and like
Oh,
constantly
yeah.
getting
Single player
invaded by
was
the
real
fucking
bad.
bounty hunt- Yeah,
Single player
it
was
The
atrocious.
single player is a tutorial for the multiplayer.
It was
right?
so
the problem
bad.
Is,
It's a long fucking tutorial.
well, it's like 4 hours, right? Which is small for a Metroid game, right?
4 hours
like,
of. Yeah, I don't know.
This is a multiplayer first game, but there is the single player, so it should be considered, right?
Yeah.
I think the biggest problem is just the DS is also, like you said,
it's not good for first person shooters at all.
and for multiplayer, right? And I don't know how much you hold that against like a multiplayer style game on a system that just doesn't have a lot of multiplayer, like.
Well,
Setup,
yeah. I mean, if
right?
the main
Like the
selling
DS.
point is the multiplayer, then yeah.
Yeah,
gonna hold
I
it
don't know.
against-
I mean, it's sort of like, I guess it's like, do you hold like, if your Crystal Chronicles was on the list, would you hold the fact that you need all the GameCube controllers, I mean, all the Game Boy Advances like against it, right? And it's like, I don't know, maybe, because that's sort of how I feel about Hunters, right? Is like, I don't think it's like a hell-worthy game in and of itself in its design, right? But there's things that are surrounding it that I think do bring it down, and it's just how much do I factor those in?
I don't think you can hold needing people to play multiplayer really against it in a weird way because it's
No, it's the fact that nobody wants to play it because it controls like shit.
well, yeah, no, I'm not arguing that, but it's kind of like the saying you kind of can't factor in the value of the game based on like when we just talked about Pokemon Snap, like it cost $40 and like when it came out or whatever, and that was kind of a rip off, but like now it's you don't really factor that into it, so I guess like that. Considering that you don't really, but yeah, the game doesn't control well, so that's for fucking sure. And I feel like I played more of the demo that came with the DS than I played of the actual game once I finally got it.
Yeah.
Because everybody had the demo and people were willing to play it, but then nobody bought the game except for me, and I was like, come on, guys.
On the stream, can you highlight the game we're talking about? Just so it's easy.
Yeah. I had been doing that. This is the first time I haven't.
Oh, okay. I just thought.
So I think the biggest strong point of Hunters is, like Noah touched on, the Hunters themselves. Like, when you get to the multiplayer, it is fun that, like, the characters can all play very differently from each other, right?
Yes.
Like, they did genuinely make that. And I think that, honestly, the single player would have been a lot better if you got to play as people other than Samus. I think that's, like, the big thing. Because it's like, as a tutorial, that only teaches you one of the 9 characters.
Yeah.
Right? But I think that when you get in there and you, like, sort of pick someone, there is, like, I don't want to say, like, I think that the different classes are unique, and like Noah mentioned, like they incorporate Metroid elements well into sort of like of the ball archetype and like the charge shot, stuff like that, in interesting ways for a multiplayer game, right?
Oh, the ideas are there.
It's
and,
something
the
you want to
itself
like.
had cool designs. It's just that it just didn't work.
You want to like it a lot more than you do. It's one of those things.
Sure.
I mean, so where do you want it, Noah?
I don't know. I don't know how strongly you guys feel about. I know you guys don't like Devil May Cry 2, but thinking like between Blinks and Devil May Cry.
Ooh, that's a good question.
I think it should be above Sticker Shock.
I don't think it should be in hell.
Well,
I don't think it should be underneath Lucky Luke, to be quite honest.
I was gonna say,
with you.
recent Game Club people, how is Deep Fear and Lucky Luke like? Because I
Deep
heard
Fear is decent.
Yeah, I'm
Deep
going to
Fear-
put it under Deep Fear.
I think Deep Fear plays fine.
Yeah.
okay. All right.
And yeah, I mean, it's not. There's not a lot of friction there. It's just a real shit story, and real shit voice acting and stuff like that.
Really easily boring.
Mediocre.
Really.
It's very mediocre.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's never frustrating. Like,
No.
Sure.
you're never mad at the game.
You're bored sometimes, but
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like maybe this is gonna be an interesting situation. Above Knack. Me, the great defender of Knack, I know, but
Selling your boy down the river.
yeah, that's the weird thing. If going above Lucky Luke, I'm okay with putting it under like those other like Mario Pinball Land and Donkey Konga, but like, yeah, I don't think it should. That's Lucky Luke is throwing me off here. We fucked up on that one, I guess. So ignoring that,
Yeah, I don't know. I still would put it. Yeah, I agree with Will, to be honest. Above Knack is where I'm.
I haven't played Knack, so I can't say.
I haven't played Knack or Donkey Konga.
Well,
But I'll
at least
take your
with
word for
Knack,
it.
You were at least with Knack, you were somewhat. Wait, no, the whole argument that Knack was boring.
There's no engagement in that. You
Yeah.
just hold forward the whole game.
So what would be worse, like having no engagement or wanting to have engagement but can't because it's so frustrating to play and it's not fun?
sure. I mean, and I think that's just a
disagree with how
genuine.
bad it controls, but
It's really just bad.
Well,
It's worse. It's worse than Kid Icarus.
it's worth the Kid
Oh
Icarus.
yeah,
Yeah,
for
but
sure. I mean, it already is way lower than Kid Icarus on the list.
No, I
I
mean
would-
control scheme wise.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say that having,
Yeah, but to the
having
point that it makes
one-
you not want to play the game because of the controls.
Sure.
That's where I just-
But I would say having one thing that I look at and I say like, oh, you did that actually really well, puts you above Knack in my
Because
head,
Knack, it's
right?
not just that it's because you said Deep Fear is at least mechanically sound or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, it even had like some
But-
like on the actual battle mechanics, it had some improvements on like previous tank control games.
Sure.
Yeah, okay, but so Deep Fear has something going for it, right? Knack I wouldn't even use the term mechanically sound because you're just holding forward. You're literally just holding forward and then pressing X a couple times. Maybe.
Like I
maybe
said,
a
I would
couple
like
squares.
it in hell, but people have to think otherwise.
I don't know.
So you want it in Hell too, Seth?
So I wanted Knack in hell, but
Well, yeah, we all did, but you
Knack
guys
itself,
made
but-
for some reason changed it.
Hold the line.
So yeah, I don't know. I would go above Knack. That's
Still,
no
like,
Donkey Kong above
if the whole thing, like the single player, which is like literally half the game, is not good, like not just because of the controls, but because of the story, the scenario, and like the whole backtracking thing.
Yeah.
Then that literally only the design of the characters is the only interesting game.
Well, no, not even design, but like the implementation, the way you play as them. Like when you play as these different characters, I think they're interesting. Whereas
But
the
you
thing about
can't
Knack
play
is,
as them that well because you can't control them that well.
But all
I
the
will
things you
say
said
I
about-
had a small resemblance of fun when playing Metroid Prime Hunters at a couple of times.
all the things you said about Metro Prime single player also applies to Knack single player, but it does not have a multiplayer component.
At least like the multiplayer.
That's
can be
not
redeeming
a
factor.
question then if Knack should be above it or not. It's a question if Knack should be in hell or not.
I don't think Metroid should be in hell because when I think of a game in hell, I think of a game that I had not one moment that I called fun. And I don't think Metroid Prime Hunters. I don't think that when I think of that game because there was, like I said, I had brief moments where I was like, "This is kind of good," but like, of course, it's overshadowed by all the other bad things about it. Which overall, I think it's a pretty terrible game, which is why it's so low on the list. But I don't think it's.
That's a
You
very
didn't
hard
have-
standard.
Yeah, like
I've had fun with even with like some of the like Discord Nord. Like for a second, I had fun for like a
Yeah.
second.
there was some moments that made you laugh for sure, especially with Fox.
I don't know.
Put us in hell.
Just
Well,
if somebody had a DS and said, "Do you want to play this game?" I
I
probably
mean,
wouldn't
if
say
I were
no.
to say the strongest
I would
single player
definitely say no.
component,
I would, if it was the first time playing, I'd be like, yeah, and then after playing, I was
No,
saying,
I wouldn't.
no more.
I'd be like, "Yeah, why
Favorite
not?"
Hunters, I don't look back on like angrily on. It was
Yeah, me
just sort of
neither.
like, oh, that was the thing. that
I look back
Right.
disappointingly on it, not angrily.
I look back on it angrily.
Yeah.
I fucking hated it.
I had Metroid Prime. What do I have to be mad about at the time? You know what I mean?
The fact that my hands were hurting.
I don't know.
Deep
I-
pain.
It was not comfortable at
I
all.
don't remember finding any offense while playing this game. Maybe I mean, admittedly, it's been a long time since I played it, but I don't get the strong feelings here because I'm just like. oh,
My
well,
hands
it's
still remember the
alright.
pain.
I didn't.
You don't
I
need
didn't
to
have that
remember
much hand
all
pain.
Now.
I remember it being bad, but not having
Maybe
pain.
you guys are just old, you know.
Sav,
Your
how do you
bones are
feel?
whittling away and-
I mean, did you guys finish the single player?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah.
Well, it's a
I didn't.
pain.
Maybe I
Fucking
didn't hardcore marathon it as fast as you did. You know, I took my time with it, so maybe.
Maybe. I don't know.
Sav, how do you feel? Because I think we're.
oh, the conversation is very interesting. The problem I have is
We're gonna need you to free us one way or the other here.
the problem is like all these issues that you talk about with this game is the problem is like this game is like fucking 15 years old almost, and half of it is just gone from memory. But I do like the interesting parts I can barely remember anymore. All I remember is just like the annoying parts of this game, and I want to even then I want to put it above Knack because I don't know. I don't know. I just hate Knack more. Knack is just way boring.
Well,
Sometimes you can just hate something more. Sometimes that's okay. But...
Yeah.
Knack
Like,
has
I feel like
really-
we've put games in hell for way less than this.
Yeah, probably.
The only reason why I've left Knack above Hell is because of how passionate Will was in making this above Hell. And I was like, fine, because it's
Yeah.
still near the bottom, so I don't really care. But
But we're
at the
not,
same-
yeah. Like I get it, but we're not talking about placing Mac anywhere. We're not placing Metroid Prime Hunters.
But he would put Knack below Metroid is the problem.
yeah.
Also, Seth, you still have a pick. We can try to do that next turn.
True. We'll see. You know what? Stick it in Hell. Stick Prime Hunters in
There
Well,
you
then,
go.
then we're
There you go.
tied.
Then we're tied.
Okay.
Then we're tied.
Now we're 3-3.
Good.
If we tried, we don't move it at all. So I don't know if that's what we want.
Yeah.
But fine, I'll compromise. Put it above Knack. I'll
God damn
compromise.
it, Staff.
Do it. It deserves to be lower. That's one
Then
thing I'll
put it
agree on.
lower. Don't come.
But then we're tied and it doesn't move at all.
That's what it did.
We are putting it lower.
Yeah. I mean, I'd rather put it lower than kept it the same. Like, it's not as low as I want it to be, but it's still lower.
I mean, this isn't even compromise. Staff wants it above Knack. If you put it below Knack, that's compromise.
It's just
Yeah,
Seth
that's
wants
true.
to move the line that says
Every
the gates
time
of
we
hell
move a
up.
game, we always like,
That's
oh,
my
I
goal.
know I want it below this game, but I'm not gonna
Well,
compromise
yeah, because there's
moving
5
the whole
other
thing
people
just
that are
because this
factoring
one
in
game
here.
is in the way.
Yeah, it's
And
not
then
just
you
what
now
you
you
want,
also
Noah.
turn that around.
I mean,
Use
okay,
the-
if you want me to go through hell, I think Superstar is worse.
No, I
than
don't want you to
fucking-
go through hell. I don't.
Yes,
I don't.
we should.
Come on, you're so
we need
close.
to sort out hell. we owe
Seth doesn't want to put. He wants to move the gates of hell line up too. Seth wants, you know, like that's.
I mean, I'm
Okay.
not moving the gates of hell up, but that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
Look,
I mean-
like, Ills, I know you want it at least where Mario Pinball Land is, right? We can do that if you want. Like,
I don't really care
No.
if
Marvel.
how low this game goes. I'm just fucking around. So.
no, I'm saying Pinball Land. You want in hell, though, right?
You want to?
Oh yeah,
As soon as
I
we can
want
raise the
I want
ceiling of
Pinball
hell.
Land. Hell yeah, sure.
We can move the gates of hell up. I'm not.
No, I we.
I mean, I
Whoa.
also want Incredible Crisis in hell.
I mean, no,
And Lucky Luke. Let's just move it. Let's just move it to Lucky Luke.
What? You know, maybe that's the conversation we should be having. You know, how high are we moving the gates of hell up?
Maybe we'll have that as our second segment.
That's when we have
Instead
to
of
do
the
hell,
rapid
hell in
fire,
the
we'll do
cell.
that.
Hell in the cell's when we have to do the moving hell.
moving hell. Moving hell in hell itself.
All right.
So, above Knack then?
Above that,
Above
and then a
that.
conversation about hell after.
Yeah. I mean, no, you will agree, right? Like,
I-
you'd rather see it moved rather than stay in 207, right?
Well, yeah, but we're not, if
Yeah.
you don't agree on like putting it below Knack, that's not going to stop it from moving at all. We'll just move it. We'll just
No, it
compromise
won't-
and
it
put
will.
Lower.
Like, if it's tied, then it would just stay at 207. That's the
No,
problem.
I
that's
feel like
not
we
how
need to
it
reassess
works.
the tie rule at some point.
If people want to put it higher and it was 3 against putting it higher and lower, that's when it wouldn't move.
Yeah, I think we're misunderstanding the tie rule here.
I
Yeah.
think we should move hunters up actually.
Oh
I
my
think-
god.
It's
Let's
no.
Jackie
tie
Chan
is-
stuff.
Yeah, it's just the amount of how low it goes
Well, no,
with
no, no,
like
no.
drawing.
Specifically, we decided with the tie that, what is it called? If it's
Your
tied,
fucking tie rules, I
then-
swear to
then the
God,
dr-
man. Just
Yeah, like I
fucking-
said, it's like if there's like 3 people who wanted it to go higher and then 3 people that want it to go lower, that's when it wouldn't move. Otherwise, the majority will push it to where it needs to go.
Yeah, but then.
Then what's
yeah,
gonna happen? So what's gonna happen if I stick to my guns and
No,
want
but
it in
if
hell?
you-
So
if-
we
if
will
it's
put it
tied-
lower.
no,
It's
no,
just
listen.
will either the matter if it's gonna go below Knack or above Knack.
The
If-
problem
if it
is
tied. It stays above Knack then because it does
tie goes
the
to the
way
higher
tie works-
spot.
whatever. I can't verbalize this. I'll tell you after.
Yeah, if you want to, it would be if you wanted to move it lower, whatever the higher spot would be. If you want to move it higher, whatever the lower spot
the
would
lower
be,
spot.
go to the tie.
That's
So
what
my
it was.
position means nothing. Cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, kind of, yeah.
I mean, when we're fighting over one spot, kinda like.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. Yeah. it's
Like when we're in a situation of like there's like a 3-spot difference, it matters. But when it's a 1-spot, it doesn't.
The only spot that it won't help is spot number 1. So that tie will never be broken
That will never be broken.
because spot number 1 you can't go higher or lower. That one you
Yeah.
suck.
All right, so that was hell. That was a ranking in hell.
Hell's an
Much
illusion.
like much compromise when it's good, no one's happy. Next up.
Chat says hell is an illusion.
It got lower. That's fine.
Big
Ills.
Oh god. Why me?
Well, you got a 50-50 chance there, so.
Normally we go 1-on-1.
Oh man,
Let's see.
wrestling.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's take a gander.
Take a peeksy.
Okay. I want to move Skull Monkeys down.
Aw.
Skull Monkeys use.
Where
I
was that
haven't played
game?
I'm
It's
recusing
such a
myself here.
cool, unique claymation platformer.
The good parts of the claymation, the bad parts are everything else.
What do you mean?
Where the fuck
It
is
was
that?
only like the
game?
last
I
level
don't-
that we were really frustrated
Oh,
on.
there it is.
I don't like the platforming in this game. I mean, like the boss fights are kind of funny because
Yeah. and
Joe had
then-
Joe.
Yeah. So, I forgot about him.
Joe Head
But-
Joe is funny,
And-
but yeah.
and-
I do
the
not
rest
think
of it.
it's better than Fire Emblem Sacred Stones. And
Where is that?
Crash Bandicoot. That's a conversation.
I think, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's worse than Crash.
As a platformer, I
The
think it's
first
worse than New
Crash-
Super Mario Bros. 2.
The first Crash, though.
Yeah, the first Crash.
Yeah. As a platformer, I think New Super Mario Bros. 2 is better.
How do you feel about Busta Groove?
I feel pretty alright about Buster Groove.
Yeah, it's all right.
Because I feel like they have similar strong suits, right? Of like weird vibe, you know, aesthetic type stuff.
Yeah.
But do you think that the rhythm of Busta Groove got accentuated or hurt more than the platforming in Skull Monkeys?
Well, I like Buster Groove because I mean I like some of the music or most of the music, and I like the animations of the dancing. I mean the gameplay itself is kind of simple. You just count the beats, but other than that, I mean it's pretty okay.
I don't think it beats the claymation animation.
I mean the claymation's only like the cutscenes, right? So a
No,
very
it's like
small
the-
part of the game.
I mean, even in game, it looks like it's called claymation animation. Well,
It's the
it's
you
the
can see stuff
aesthetic
where
looks like it's
rotoscoped
claymation.
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, so
artistically, Skull Monkeys looks cool, but I think as a platformer, it falters. It's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of slippery, and
the level design is kind of lame.
Yeah.
The multiple paths are kind of shit. Unlike the enemies can see you when you're off screen, so they can be throwing projectiles at you before you can see them.
mhm.
Oh man. I mean, it's a funny game. It's funny. It has its charm,
Yeah.
and it generally plays, I guess, okay. But like, I didn't like it very much.
Yeah, like
Nah.
bonus room song, very funny.
Yep.
Here's a question. Having played both, I think I would put it above Dragon Mark for Death at least. But I played that less than you guys did, and when I played it, it was primarily single player, which was very grindy.
Yeah,
Mm.
makes sense.
So I don't
mean-
know if that trade-off is.
I feel like we had fun with Dragon Mark for Death, but I mean,
Well, that was our squad. We have a better squad.
that's what I mean.
More
When
consistent, more
when we
consistent.
played as a group, like we had fun. Noah, Saf, and I. But I
Except
mean,
when we
like-
tried to fight that fucking final boss, we had to grind like fuck.
Yeah.
Like imagine that, but basically every boss. That's
Yeah.
only single player. Like,
And the
that's
structure of it's kind of meh. It's not great, but
I want to replay it because they've made some significant changes to it.
Yeah.
I keep saying this every fucking time.
I do
Like,
see
we're
on the news
revisiting
app on
it,
the Switch a
boys.
lot. They're like updating it. I'm like, whoa. You guys
yeah,
are
there's a
up.
ton of updates.
I
Yeah.
guess we gotta get back into it then.
Okay.
So Crash.
Yeah, like I said, I would be willing to put it below Super Mario Bros. 2, New Super Mario Bros. 2, but if you guys don't agree, then fine. Yeah, below Crash.
Above Crash, below Crash.
I think you would put below.
I would put it below Crash, but I would also put it below New Super Mario Bros. 2.
The rest, everyone else, anybody else? Saf,
I mean,
did you play this game? Saf?
I don't think Saf
Hear
played
me?
it. And
No?
There we
No,
go.
Staff's not.
Did you play
Saf?
it? No.
No.
Okay,
Then
so
what do
I
you
would go
want?
below Crash, I guess.
Okay, then I'm fine with
Okay.
There we go.
that. All right. There it is.
We're taking down all Noah's favorite games.
It's been a very Noah heavy.
Bad day. It's just a bad day.
It's
Happy
been a while
Thanksgiving,
since we
Noah.
had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, no.
Happy holiday.
When's Rankerseries is a good question.
No.
I wonder who's next.
Oh, we gotta spin the wheel.
We gotta spin the wheel to find out
Who could it be?
Let's see,
Who
let's see.
could it be?
who could it be. Is it
It's Saf.
It's
Damn it, I
sad.
hate that guy.
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
So what do
same.
you want to do, Seth?
I kind of like him, but I also hate him.
Let's cheer Noah off a little bit. Let's move Twilight Princess up.
God.
You were doing it.
Shove her above Ocarina of Time. Let's do this shit. Let's go. Yes.
Yeah.
Come on. It is better than Ocarina of Time in
You know,
every way.
I've been thinking a lot about it.
In every way, is such a you have to.
That's
do
nonsense.
that-
That's absolutely
that-
nonsense.
I don't hate Saf. I don't hate him at all.
No. You have to admit when you're hyperbolizing. That
Let me
is
talk to you
fucking
about
such
Shintoism.
exaggeration that it does everything better than Ocarina. No, it doesn't.
You're right. You're right. It doesn't suck as bad.
No.
Ridiculous.
The
Ridiculous.
pacing in Twilight Princess sucks ass. This is just a fact.
Okay,
right?
sucks ass. Now you don't hyperbolize.
No, yeah, I
Yeah, okay.
It does, though. That's how
No, I mean, that's the problem.
Yo, no, no, you're not.
Game are.
Now we're not.
Oh, let me go in the village, let me fish, let me find the...
There was a
Yeah,
good
don't-
idea with.
Don't
Overlord,
hyperbolize.
they did it for us.
Sucks ass.
And then, like, the wolf, like, the beginning wolf parts are not fun, right? Like, collecting the tears is not fun. You know that. You know for a fact that is just not fun, right? Like,
You know what's not fun? The camera
The
glitching in the
water's
fucking
not
walls in Ocarina of Time.
That is a very rare occurrence.
No,
Genuinely.
okay.
That is.
and also,
I mean, I just like
also,
just to compare those
we're
opening
always
areas.
saying We're ranking the best version of the game. Yes.
Yeah.
In that case, we're talking about the 3DS version. That glitch, it is not a glitchy experience on the 3DS. It
Okay.
runs at a great
So,
frame rate.
hold on.
It-
If
yeah.
you're doing the 3DS version, that means you're
We're
not
doing
taking
the
the.
HD version of Twilight Princess. The HD version of Twilight Princess didn't change much, though. It made the
And
textures
we haven't
better,
mentioned the L word
and-
once.
and the tier collection went down a little bit. Like that, like in terms of gameplay, Twilight Princess actually didn't really change all that much at all.
Because it didn't need much improvement.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
that's not true. So I'll put it side by sides, right? Just for example, the opening area, right? Because that's the point of contention. So Kokiri Forest designed to be a playground. I think it succeeds in that largely, right? The elements that you do to get out are largely tied to exploration and to figuring out how to circumnavigate this environment, right? I think that works well. Orden Village, you're supposed to be getting attached to these characters that will pay off later on down the line. I think the problem is they spread out too long and too thin. And then when you get Hyrule Field, the same idea applies. There's this, I think there was a fear of giving overwhelming players too much. And so what happens is you never get the moment of going out into Hyrule Field and feeling like you're on an adventure game in a Zelda. Instead, they're segmented off into 3 portions that don't really ever culminate until you finally get the ability to teleport with Midna, which is 20 hours into the game. Now, also that happens with the wolf element. They segment them off in a way where the wolf never intersects with the primary interaction of a Zelda game, which is having to do with puzzles and dungeons, right? And exploring an open environment. Those don't hit until the 50-minute mark. When Moose talks about the problems with the pacing, that's what they're talking about. The game seems afraid to intersect the different elements because of the fact that until the 50-minute mark, which I think is where the pacing issues come from. And I'm not reading that, Kevin. I've just been thinking.
Are you sure?
Sounds like you were reading it.
Like it.
Really sounds like
I
you were
can
reading
share
it.
my screen. I just have been thinking.
he's been practicing. You know, he's been ready to come at.
He's been
it.
ready to combat this.
Yeah, because we all knew it was coming. Quite frankly, I thought Noah was gonna pick it. Then I thought Ills was gonna pick it. But I
I gave up on the fight to bring Ocarina of Time because you guys just won't give in.
Well, yeah, but
No, because like,
at least 2 other people already agree with you. Brandon and Saf both think that Twilight Princess is better than Ocarina of Time, and Ills is the swing vote, I guess.
What?
this is like Ocarina of Time is still just a better game to me. Like the
Ocarina of Time is the better game to me. I agree.
Sorry, no,
I agree. I agree.
Twilight Princess is a better
God
game.
damn, Staff!
Oh no, it's happening again. I'm flipping.
Flipping.
I'm flipping. What the fucking Twilight Princess is still a better game. Like it's still a much more enjoyable and much more dramatic experience than Ocarina of Time was. Like I'm not gonna say that Ocarina of Time didn't have its moments, but Twilight Princess has did more to the story and did more in terms of like the characters themselves outside of fucking Link and Zelda to make them more interesting and much more engaging as a result of it. Hyrule Hyrule Fields, playing it again on the 3DS, is just
It's empty.
it's empty. It's boring.
Empty giant
Like
space.
unless you wanna chase after pose, unless you wanna chase after pose, it's not gonna be much that you can really
No,
do.
but Twilight
Like it's just
Hyrule Fold is
like-
just as empty, but it's bigger, so it's even worse because it's a bigger, emptier field. Like that's like, they're
Like-
both empty. You can't say that just one is empty. They're both absolutely empty. But that's why I think making it bigger makes it even worse because they're just more fluff in Twilight Princess, and that's just kind of an undercurrent of the whole damn game. Is that like Twilight Princess is fluff to the max.
Dude,
Like,
disagree with that.
Absolutely not. Absolutely
I
fucking
think
not.
that
At least you
Hang
have
on.
something
Ills,
to
do you
do,
have an
or at least you
opinion
have
on this?
some. At least you have some things to going on in the fields that are empty, or like you still had things to do.
Yeah.
Whereas Hyrule Fields and fucking Ocarina of Time is just nothing. Even you can't even do anything in there, which is just worse.
It's a fucking hub world. Like it's just a hub world. Like that's literally all it exists to be. Wait,
Alright,
chat,
give
chat,
the-
Chat's demanding
chat
ills.
chat really wants to hear from Ills. So
Wait, why? They're having such a good time.
The chat is demanding ills.
Oh god. I played a little bit of Ocarina of Time, the 3DS one, and I thought the improvements were really good actually. For Twilight Princess, I do think like the character relationships shine a lot more. Like I will always love Midna more than I do anybody in Ocarina of Time probably.
Sure.
And I will always love the dungeons in Twilight Princess more than Ocarina of Time. I mean those two
Ball
things.
and chain.
Those two things, and I also think like the items that you get in Ocarina of Time are surprising, in a way. Like, I
In
feel like
Ocarina or in Twilight?
in Wait, what did I say? I said Ocarina.
Yeah.
I meant Twilight.
Yeah,
Okay.
Twilight.
I meant Twilight.
Scapegoat.
Ocarina is kind of like a rehash, a little bit of a Link to the Past. Yeah.
Sure, I mean, they're
well,
implementing in 3D. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's my 2 cents.
Double hook shot was fucking amazing.
It's
Yeah.
so
When I got the
cool.
double hook shot, man, blew my fucking
It's
mind.
so cool. And you know what? You don't use the spinner much, but I thought the spinner was just the coolest shit. And the boss
It
battle
was
was
really
It made for a
fucking-
fucking amazing boss fight as well.
Yeah,
Like,
that boss fight,
Let
I
me talk
love
to you
it.
about theming.
Oh,
Because
Theming.
Shigeru Miyamoto is a Shinto Buddhist. And one of the biggest things in Shinto Buddhism is natural order. And Ocarina of Time incorporates that in a subtle yet elegant way. I have a whole thing, I'm going to stop now, but promise me, think about the fact that all the child things take place inside natural living beings. The husk of the Deku Tree, the husk of a giant Dodongo, the husk inside the Great Jabu Jabu, and all those natural things are destroyed by Ganondorf, right? There's an element there that all of the temples are man-made. That is interesting theming. We're thinking about the natural order of Zelda and what represents, like there's a lot going on there. I'm not going to say more, but trust
But
me.
you get to be a
You're
fucking
definitely
kid
reading that off something.
Listen, Will,
You
I'm not gonna
make
argue.
Brain! I just think!
No, I'm gonna say I'm not gonna argue. You make a good point that it is interesting theming.
It is, yeah.
I mean, I love Ocarina of Time, so I mean that's why it's so high on the list, and I agree with it being high on the list. I just think Twilight Princess is better. I just think I just think man, I'd rather replay through Twilight Princess to this day than Ocarina of Time. I think they're both very similar. They both do so many things right. They're both incredible games, and I mean, I would play through either one of them at any point in my life. I would love to play through either one of those games, but I just like Twilight Princess overall more. There's something about it that I enjoy more. I like maybe I'm an edgy kid. I like the aesthetic, but I really like Ills mentioned, the dungeons. I love him so much. Malomart is incredible, and I just love the dungeons. There was something that really hit me when I was in the Yeti's house, and when I found out that was a dungeon. When I found the map, I thought I was in like a mini area, and then I found the map, and I was like, "This is a dungeon." I was like, "This is amazing." I really like that.
It's so weird that you mentioned like this idea that what would I play more? Because if we're talking about replayability,
That was just something I mentioned. I'm not saying that's the only factor here.
but I'm saying though, when we're talking about replayability, that is literally Twilight Princess's biggest fault though, without question. Because
I play through each one once and then I'm done, and then I wait a couple of years, and then I'll play through another one. I don't think there's like, I don't look at, I'm not somebody who looks at a Zelda game and says, after I beat the game, what can I go back and do? I'm just like,
No,
it's like a complete experience
but
to me.
I'm saying like this keeps getting just like sloshed over like it's not a big deal, but like
I mean, it might not be a big deal to us.
I don't know how even the biggest fans of Twilight Princess can disagree that like the pacing in Twilight Princess is just not good. Like at a base level, it's just not good. Like it's very uneven pacing.
Never had a
I don't
problem.
necessarily disagree with that.
Yeah, and I do think on the dungeons point, I think that Twilight Princess has really strong dungeons. No disagreement there. But I think that there are also, I think the dungeons in Ocarina sort of get brushed over because Water Temple gets discoursed, right? Well, I mean, I think it's over.
I mean, Shadow Temple is kind of shy as well, though.
Well, no, I think the Shadow Temple on the bottom of the well is actually a really interesting intersection, right? I think
it's a good transition. The dungeon itself is off, but
no, and I think the aesthetic of it is like, it's really macabre in a way that like even like Twilight Princess I don't think kind of nails. Like it's really gross to be in there, right? But I think also there's like the environments like the Forest Temple, right, where like there's the twisting corridors, right, that I think especially feel they do catch you off guard, right? There are elements that are surprising. I think the intersection of the young and old in the Spirit Temple is very interesting, right? Those are dynamic parts of the dungeons that I think sort of get under discussed because, you know, they sort of have just been internalized, right? But then I think on the same sort of level, when you talk about the items, like I think that you are not wrong insofar that Twilight Princess is iterating. And I think especially like the Devil Hook shots, right, are improvements, right? I think some like the Gale Boomerang are just sort of meh, right? But I think that you have to, even when I was playing, Ocarina was not the first 3D Zelda that I played, right? But I do think that there is still something about entering the first-person perspective with the bow and being able to reassess the environment that you're in a way that I think is engaging. And I think that is engaging because it was the first time they did it and they didn't have to find twists on it, right? Like you didn't have to sort of add on bomb arrows and other things. I think that there is a certain level of like the visual language of the dungeons in Ocarina of Time I think are really strong. Like I think that there is like, there's the fewest times that I felt like I've been stumped because I just didn't know where to go because the layout seemed inefficient outside of the Water Temple, right?
I got stuck in the Forest Temple on the Ocarina of the remake. That was weird.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, and that's a personal experience thing, but those are the reasons that I still strongly like the Ocarina of Time dungeons, right? I don't want to sort of.
I don't dislike the Ocarina of Time dungeons.
The problem I had, right? Like I remember this experience well because like I played it like Ocarina of Time at least 3 times. Whereas like I played the original, I played it again. I played the original, loved it. Played it again, noticed a few problems with it in terms of like glitches and like, oh yeah, fucking Water Temple definitely still fucking sucks. Played the remake on the 3DS, loved the improvements of it, but at the same time, I didn't love it as much as the first experience. Like a lot of it just felt like, well, there were other better games out there at the time that I was playing this, and it's like it's still a solid game, but it still doesn't live up to the quality that it was at that time. Like you play it again and again, and you just kind of like, it's still an enjoyable experience, but it's not as fun as it the first time you played it. Whereas Twilight Princess, I feel as though like I played it a few times as well, but those were still really good. Like those character moments were still enjoyable, and I still like seeing the experience of like Midna and the stories of Midna and Ilia. Like those were still fun, and the dungeons were still fucking cool.
I think Ilia's is fraught. There's parts of Ilia's pacing is weird, I would say. But yeah, I agree. No qualms on Midna. I think that's unqualified. She is one of the best companions you had in a Zelda.
Yeah, that is the one thing I will definitely give you that Twilight Princess just excels at, right?
Yeah.
The characters, specifically Midna, right? Like doesn't have
especially when you compare it to Navi.
But I think the story of Twilight Princess is worse. I think it is. Because there's not the strong theming element, not even up to that nature stuff, right? But like with Ocarina of Time, the entire thing is structured around childhood to adulthood, right? And seeing, going back to these places and seeing them with new eyes, seeing the things that seemed innocent suddenly seem harsh, right? And that's sort of the whole second half of that game, right? The first half is the setup for the second half, and I think that that's actually a very Zelda has had the 2 parts structure, right? The 3, then the 7, from Link to the Past onwards, right? I think Ocarina of Time does it best because it's a genuine setup to payoff. Well, I mean, what do you think did it better?
Link to the Past.
Well, Link to the Past. I mean,
no, I mean you between these two, yeah. But
sure,
I meant...
but yeah.
No,
but what I think
he
is
meant, like after Link, like of the 3D Zeldas, right? Like, you know.
Yeah, but sort of my larger thing, I guess, was like when it comes time, I think it's unfortunate that Midna is in a story that seems kind of at the end of the day uninterested in her conflict, right? At the end of the day, it comes back to Ganon and Zelda, right? And I think that that's a thing that's overly discussed, right? But I think that it is a problem because Zant not being the bad guy, that twist has happened in every Zelda game, right? Of this is the someone else, and then here's the true Ganon's still the guy behind it, right? I think that it's the most harmed by Twilight Princess because they had dedicated more time than ever to Zant and Midna, and then suddenly that sort of it doesn't end up mattering ultimately, right?
But I don't have a problem with this because I mean, Zant and Midna are just the Twilight versions of Zelda and Ganon, basically. I mean, they're just the stand-ins because that's what they are in the game. I mean.
Well,
it's fine that it goes back to it's fine that it goes back to Zelda again because they're the ones who have the Triforce. But I mean,
I
can
think
see
that's
like
a situation where
this
Zelda's
is the
being
line of Zelda basically, and this is the line of Ganon. It's kind of like the perpetual cycle that's always been reflected in the Zelda games. It's just
but I think
in a different realm.
But I think that's when being attached to the Zelda tropes hurts it because I think taking Midna and saying, well, she's just Zelda in another thing takes away the things that make Midna interesting.
I don't mean she's just Zelda.
No, but the game says that.
I'm not saying like she's any worse for this. Like she's fine. She's a good character. I like her a whole lot. I mean, she's just, you know, the stand-in for Zelda here because she's in the line of Zelda. That's it. I mean, you know what I mean? She's like there's no problem with that.
The characters and the way they're represented, I don't think it's. I think you're just over exaggerating the negative effects of it.
Like they do the same thing in Link Between Worlds, basically. I mean, Hilda and Yuga, right?
They do the same.
But those are literal, right? And like it still is about Zelda, like it is, right? Like I really feel like maybe I was just a different read, but like I know that she's Zelda's the Twilight Princess, and then no, Midna's the Twilight Princess, right? That's the name being inverted, right? But what I would compare that in comparison to Ocarina of Time is Ocarina of Time never stumbles on that. There's never that question, right? The first person that you meet that are important in this conflict is Ganon and Zelda, right? At the end, Zelda is implemented in the game in a way that's effective through Sheik. The twist works, right? It would make sense because Impa's been introduced earlier, right? And then at the end, when that conflict comes around and there's that bittersweet moment of you seeing everyone celebrating, but Link can't be there because Link had this taken from him and he never gets it back, right? I think that works. You can't go home again, right? That's the first thing that they tell you when you leave the Kokiri Forest. If you leave, you can never come back. And the Kokiri Forest is childhood. And when Link comes back, he still can't be a kid again because he's seen all this stuff, right? I think that they don't override it, they don't hit you over the head with it, but it's there and it interacts with the side quests, interacts with the characters in the towns you meet when they have all aged and changed. I think that it is such a clever way to have that core conceit exist throughout the entirety of the game. But that's, you know, if that's a thing that you feel like, hey, the problems in Twilight Princess weren't as big of a deal, and
no, I mean I agree with everything you just said. It's just that alone doesn't, you know what I mean? Like
that's your.
Well, yeah, but also throw in the pacing thing. Also throw in the fact
the pacing. Yes, I mean, here's my thing. I think Twilight Princess has lower lows and higher highs, and that's like, yeah, that's pretty much the long and short of it. Like,
sure.
Yeah, and I agree. I agree that I think it does have higher highs than Ocarina of Time, and I also think it definitely has lower lows than Ocarina of Time, right? But I also think like the highs of Ocarina of Time are also like not that much lower though. You know what I mean? Like I think like Ocarina of Time is still like an incredible game, and the thing is like, and like you could say, you know, I genuinely think the water temple in the 3DS version is no longer a problem. It turns into an actual dog shit dungeon, right? And it was. I'm not gonna fucking like argue against that, right? But in the 3DS version, it's really not a problem. It's just then it just becomes kind of just like it's just another dungeon, whatever, right?
It's still
one of the least
tedious, but it's
I
not
mean,
as bad.
No,
I, bel I believe you because I've heard other people say it, but I haven't gotten there.
Sure.
Yeah, you
I'm-
can't say for yourself.
I'm glad you as
But-
well. With Will's interpretation of like Link's experience of growing up or like growing up into an adult, like and how they've done it. When I played it when I was younger, I never really understood that. I never really got what Will got in terms of like what he saw in it. I don't think
you were a dumb kid.
I mean, I only got that. I got that more as an adult than as a kid, right? I think that's like,
But like,
I mean, but that's that's the thing. Like, I don't think they actually managed to do that well. Then did they? In terms
No,
of that. 'Cause,
I
like,
mean, because I explained in detail,
No,
like
'cause you were a
like
dumb
this,
kid that you didn't
the symbolic
understand
reading
it,
into
but
it, right? Like,
as symbolic reading, sure. Like if you think
Yeah.
about it a lot more than that, then like if you spend more time thinking about it than playing it, then sure. But
I mean,
otherwise,
sure,
the
that's-
game
that's
itself
the
is-
weirdest
that's
burn
the
I've
the
ever
game about
heard.
it itself.
The more you
doesn't
think
really
about
act
something,
like-
the better it gets. That sounds like a negative to
that's
me.
literally
I don't
the same
like that.
argument that we make in terms of why we like Super Metroid Story, right? Is like that's the same reason that people like something like Dark Souls Story, right? Like it's like this is not like this is not a thing unique to Ocarina of Time, but also that means like the fact that it's being used against Ocarina of Time is even more bad.
I don't think anybody's using it against.
No, use
What?
it
I
again.
mean, Saf just did, but that's
Well,
fine.
I'm not talking. Okay, then I'm not agreeing with Saf on that point. Then.
Yeah,
And that's fine. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to. I do have to be at a place in roughly 10 minutes, so I do. I'm gonna have to go, and the vote will just go how it goes, right? But it'll see because you're the swing vote here, right? It's 3-4.
I mean, it either stays where it is or it goes one above, and so that's not, it's literally entirely on you. We know where the rest ends. So.
Let me talk to you about Final Fantasy VII. God. Yeah, I guess we'll put it above. What can
Alright.
you do?
There you go.
Finally. Also,
gotta-
correct both of them so that both of them are the HD version, so it doesn't drive me insane.
No.
They're implied.
Well,
It's implied.
Yeah,
Well,
we
put it
have them
there.
implied.
No, we don't put it on anything.
Oh,
we don't do that.
There's
for
a bunch
any
of other
them.
HGs that are on the list.
HD, 3D, like Xenoblade Chronicles doesn't need to be Xenoblade Chronicles Remastered now.
Definitive
It's
edition,
like,
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it is.
It's
a
just-
definitive edition
It's
on
just
there.
understood that we're ranking the best one.
yeah.
Yeah, correct.
Resident Evil 4 doesn't have to say Resident Evil 4 for the Nintendo Wii or whatever.
All right, so there it is. At least I'm not that mad because at least we all said our pieces, but that is the list. That is the Ranker series. We sat down at the table. We all enjoyed a nice meal together, socially distanced, of course. But now we all go. What's the tryptophan? That's the thing inside the turkeys, right? We'll go sleep for 3 days after being full on it, and we'll come back in April. January.
January.
With the royal
Damn.
ranking.
Yeah, Royal Ranking.
Royal ranking.
And the New Year's Eve.
Ooh, and
Oh,
of
we
course,
got that too.
New Year's games will be discussed. They will be moved. How's everyone doing on New Year's games?
I
Just
only
hard
have to
time.
beat- I only have to beat Sonic Mania, and I'm like halfway through it, I think.
Okay, so you'll be.
I got plenty of time. Don't you worry.
I
about
got
it.
plenty of time. Don't you worry about me either.
I got plenty of time. Don't you worry about it.
I forgot to pick up the missing lot was on sale, and I'm mad at myself.
I have to update the Google Sheet, by the way. That's not for listeners.
How's Saf doing?
Gonna
I
have to
did
pay
read
normal
Last
price,
Night, like I said earlier. That game was dope. I'm probably gonna re-rank that one. To be real with you.
or I might re-rank that one.
Oh,
We'll
there you
see who
go.
goes first.
Both played it.
So yeah, so that'll happen. We'll add games every week on the podcast until then, and on the Game Club every other Thursday. So listen, if you haven't, subscribe if I let you. That is also we're also on Patreon. We're on Twitch right now where you can sub. If you are watching this on YouTube, you can also sub on there. Have a good one, everyone. Happy holidays and stay safe.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.